Hold on, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Expressed on this program are not those of intellectualradio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is key ingredients for a healthy relationship. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive F5 with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I talked about before you donate, investigate. Head on over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, maybe it isn't about the sunlight, but being able to weather the storm with those you love the most. Here is your trending topic for today. According to Chicago WLS, the country paused today to remember the attacks on September the 11th, 2001. Including here in Chicago, a number of events were held across Chicago honoring the nearly 3,000 victims who died on that tragic day. The sombering sound of bells tolling rang out of Engine 42, River North, as Chicago firefighters commemorated 9/11 this morning. Bagpipes also played across the ceremony outside of Engine 42 at Illinois and Dearborn. Mayor Brandon Johnson and other elected officials were there to remember. It's important to try not to remember all of the lives and honor the heroes of all of the day to rekindle the spirit of what it means to truly come together as a nation. The 15th Ward Alderman Raymond Lopez said, today marks the 22nd year since September the 11th terrorist attack. 9/11 is known and recognized as a day of service and a day of remembrance. We are so grateful for our sponsor on today. We have Pastor Michael Richardson with Emanuel Church of God in Christ, and they have a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel COGIC at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel COGIC-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson. And we're from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Co-hosting with me today is none other than cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore, aka The Biz. Hello, Rizal.
Hello, Lady ReShell. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
Ooh, it's been a trying few months. We haven't been on here together in a very long time.
It seems like it. Relationship Mondays is one of my favorite Mondays because we get to learn a little bit more on how to have healthy relationships.
That is correct. And I get to learn a little bit more too from our conversations.
Yes. So I'm excited about the topic. If you are tuned in, please share this show out to someone else who you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Our topic, key ingredients for a healthy relationship. So, Rizal, everybody have their own definition of what a healthy relationship looks like. But I think we should have our own individual um, definition and not be looking in the window of everybody else's. I mean, it's okay to take some notes from relationships that we think that's healthy, but ultimately you don't really know because you're not really alone with those people. So you should have your own definition.
Right. We on the outside looking in because we don't know what happens behind those closed doors. They could be putting on a facade. They could be faking the funk, and everything changes when you get home. But I do think that everyone should have at least a base of, what a healthy relation, the ingredients are to a healthy relationship.
I totally agree. I want to start off from the beginning, like the foundation of a relationship, which would be, and we're speaking romantic relationships, which would be the dating phase when you first start dating that person. And I think this is one of the most important phases because you are getting to know this person and you're trying to figure out if this person is right for you to move to the next step. So it's important for you to be healthy enough to pick a good person.
Right. But key word, what you said, you have to be healthy enough. That's the one thing. You got to be healed. You got to be healthy. You got to be ready.
And vice versa. So both of you should be at a point to where you're able to move on from whatever you just got out of. And so you're past that and you're not bringing the trash over into the new relationship. Of course, you're going to bring the lessons and you're going to apply it. But all of the negative stuff you should leave out. So in that dating phase, I think that's the time for you to really take your time and not really, I don't want to say dive into everything that's going on with that person, because sometimes that could be a turn off. If you know so much so quick, you're like, that may not be right for me. And I always say as women, we talk so much when we first meet men that we just give them everything that they need to really date us or court us.
And I think we've had this discussion before about dating and talking to a person. We do have to clarify that and distinguish the two because there's a difference between them. So, talking to a person, getting to know them versus dating, like you said, I will hope you're a little bit more romantic, with it, and your intentions is good moving forward.
Exactly. So I think dating could be an amazing foundation before you even move to the next stage, which could be for some people courting, engagement, marriage. So if you get it right at this stage, it should run smoothly. Keyword is should.
Should.
The next thing is when it comes to key ingredients in a healthy relationship is you want a builder. You want somebody who is going to build with you, who knows how to build. They're not afraid to build, and they're going to be hands-on with you.
That definitely would be a key because you don't want somebody who's on this level and you're here on this level because this person is going to need you to get up here. We're going to help. This person's going to help you get up here, but you got to put in that work and that willingness to build with that person. And what are you building for? What are you building towards? That makes a difference as well.
And this could also be resolved when it comes to conflict. Is that person going to be a runner, or is that person going to stay and be willing to resolve and repair what just happened?
Ooh, please let them resolve and repair because ain't nothing out there, girl. Ain't nothing out there. Let me tell y'all. So if you got one and you're all right, if they check 8 out of 10 off your list, stick with it. Fight for it. Because you could go from that 8 all the way back down to -5. So stick with what you got.
I think a lot of people, that's true. I think a lot of people look at that 20. They like, oh, that 20, it feels so good. And that 20 is like, they may meet like a need. Maybe it may be, oh, they bring me flowers all the time. The other guy didn't bring me flowers. I love flowers. So now you feel like them bringing you flowers, this act of kindness is what it is. It's just a big thing for you versus he lies. He has no integrity. he's stealing from your wallet, like all these other different things, but you bragging to your girlfriends about him bringing you flowers every week.
Yeah, you only see the one thing, that you're not seeing the obvious things, like what your girlfriends are seeing. Like, how do you not see him stealing from your wallet? You know good and well you had $20 in there, and now you got $1.85. Something ain't right.
Kenya said, every glass door doesn't mean it's always clean inside. Ooh, all right.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be a trick. You know how you have those doors with the mirrors on them, and you can't see what's in there, but the mirror on the outside is shiny.
Yeah, that's like the tinted windows where you can't see inside, but you can see out, like those. And then too, you can't look through dirty lenses as well, because then everything gonna look dirty, so it ain't gonna look right to you.
Right. Those dirty lenses could be you not being healed. You know, you have this clutter in front of you because you're not healed from what just happened, because you were so quick to run into this other relationship because you was too afraid to be alone. You didn't want to be lonely.
Yeah, I don't get that part, but I know it happens. I know it's out there, and I think at one point I might even, like experience that, and obviously it worked out, because what's for you is going to be for you, and that's not, you can't take that apart. God has a plan for you. So, and I can't say it was a lot of bad choices, but it just wasn't the one for me.
I think some things are just lessons that we're supposed to learn. We're supposed to learn from things, and some relationships may be short, some relationships may be long, but a lot of times we allow people to stay longer than they're supposed to stay in our life because we feel like it's something that we need from them, something that they're giving us, even though, it's not all of what we need. And we settle for, and then their time in our life has already expired. They were already supposed to be gone. Something else is waiting for you, but you can't get what's waiting because you have this person in front of you. You have this clutter.
All right. Don't forget though, sometimes a man or woman's job is to make that person better for the next person.
That's why I was saying it's a lesson. That relationship may be a lesson, not that, so, that relationship didn't work. It wasn't. No, sometimes it's just a lesson for you. And some women feel that way. Rizal, they be like, I got him right for the next man. Like, I taught him everything. Now he gets with this woman. He's doing all those things that you wanted him to do with you. And you like, wow, I taught him that, but you can't even benefit off anything that you taught him because that wasn't for you. That was for someone else.
Yeah, but sometimes I've seen there's women who I dealt with and I taught them things, and I always said, a man should always teach you something. And I'm glad that they took what I taught them and moved into their next relationship or next chapter of their life. And I see that they're still doing it. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel more of a man, like I did a job, whether the relationship worked out or not. I gave you something that nobody else can, take away or whatever. You will always have that piece, like that piece of me with you, because I taught you this. I showed you that. And it's not a bragging thing, but it's to help you move forward in life. So your next partner, you be like, when interests or whatever interest that y'all have, like, hey, I'm into this, I'm into that, and it'll completely blow the next man's mind.
Wow. So at least you're not leaving bitter.
No. And I can honestly say, out of all my relationships, me and my exes, we are all still friends. And we talk maybe still every other day, or they'll text or I'll text, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, happy Monday, happy Wednesday, something. There's still, the communication is still there because we never ended on bad or bitter terms. I'm cordial
with everybody except for one person. But I don't even allow all of them to have access to me like that, to where they, I don't. But I'm on speaking terms with everybody except for one.
Okay.
And that's just by choice. It's just
One out of how many? That's not a bad number. Trust me, we're the villain in somebody's story. So
no, I could call them up and say, hey, I'm having an issue. Can you? And they'd be like, yeah, I got you. What you need? All except for that one, it's gotta be one. All except for that one. He'd be like,
we gotta hear that story one day.
Man, I'm gonna take that one to my grave. So number 3, when it comes to key ingredients in a healthy relationship, is shared vulnerability. And this one is having someone that you can open up to about your worries, your anxieties, someone you can tell your deepest, darkest secrets to, and that they're not gonna say anything to anybody, they're not gonna judge you. This one is really, man, you have to really trust somebody to be at this point to want to break down and share like this.
I don't know, because I just feel as though you get into a good heated argument, they're going to use what you shared against you. And I never, ever want somebody throwing something that I did in my past or whatever back up in my face. So I'm usually hush hush on that when it comes to that thing of telling you, as you say, telling every single thing. Now, if a situation come up that I can relate to what's happening, then I might share some, but just to, come out and share like, hey, well, when I was this and blah, nah, I can't do it.
So no pillow talk. You know how you do the pillow talk and you're sharing.
No, we're going to share experiences that we just both have since we've been together. I don't even want to know about your past.
It don't have to be about the past. It could be, like I said, it could be about their worries, anxiety, just, they may have like a job interview tomorrow and they're like, oh, I'm so nervous. Or they may have a doctor's appointment. She got to go get a mammogram. She's nervous. And she's sharing that she's being vulnerable and she's sharing that those feelings with you. Okay,
those things, yeah, I can. Now that, yeah. But all the other stuff, people are petty these days. Nope.
But this is a person you're in a relationship with.
Like I said, people are petty these days.
You have to make them sign an NDA.
Something contract. What'd you say? The NCA?
NDA. You make them sign.
NDA.
Yeah.
So no disclosure agreement.
They can't say anything. Whatever happened in their relationship, they cannot say anything to anybody else about it.
Man, they can't wait to get to their girlfriends so they can run their mouth, because you don't want their girlfriends or their boys' opinion and all this and that. You might look. Let me show you. That's what's going to happen to that.
Once they sign that NDA, they can't say. They shouldn't say nothing. It shouldn't get back to you. Whatever they said.
Allegedly.
Exactly. This comes with trustworthy. Comes with that. You have to be able to trust someone in order to share that information. You have to be able to trust, and then you have to be trustworthy.
Absolutely, because my secrets. There might something like you said, I was going to take to the grave, and now you go out there and start I may have to kill you now.
It depends.
She like number 5.
And what do you got to say that you got to kill somebody for? Like, what's going on?
Hey, you never know a person until you live with them or until you date them.
That's true. I saw this story about this girl got married to this guy, and they like on Facebook, it seems like they were so happy. They posted all these pictures. This is the happiest this woman has been. Well, she found out that her guy was on the down low and he killed her. When she found out, he killed her. So like that would be something. He couldn't share that with her. He ended up taking her life because he was living this double life and he didn't want her to tell anybody else.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That you need to just leave me alone.
That's true.
Why you just leave me alone if that's the life that you want to live? My
Yeah,
life.
he needed he needed to just pursue that life. If that's what he wanted, then he might as well just come all out and look. Nowadays, ain't nobody going to judge you.
Yes, they are. They are. That's why he was hiding, and he
Well,
probably felt like she was judging him, so that's why he took her life.
he got a whole community that he could be in.
He in one right now in jail. Is his whole community?
So there you go. So he got what he wanted.
He got exactly what he wanted. Living a dream. He ain't got to hide it.
Nope.
So equal commitment is a key ingredient to a healthy relationship. I don't like when the relationship is lopsided, but sometimes I think that our relationships at one point, one person is more committed than the other. You're still committed, but I do think sometimes it may be lopsided.
And I do agree with you. Maybe when you and that person got together, they wasn't like totally like in love or anything like you are. Maybe they like you more than, you like them. But, I learned as time go on and you start to grow with that person, then, the feelings start to become a little bit stronger and eventually you'll catch up. So if they on 10 and you on 7, you'll get to 10
Eventually.
eventually.
Kenya had made a comment, but I think she said, "What did you teach them?" I think she was talking to you because you said you didn't want to
Oh
say
yeah, I
it.
don't see the comments no more. You ain't putting the
I'm
comments
not
up.
sure why they're not showing on this side, but I can see her comments. Not sure why they're not showing. So she wanted to know, what did you teach them?
Budgeting, investing. What else? How to change oil, things with the car, things that, not the normal like girly stuff, but something that's going to better you for the future. Nowadays you may find yourself in a bind, but, if you, take what I taught you, you invested your money here and there, whether it was a little bit or a lot, you'll be secure for the near future. Start watching different shows other than reality shows and stuff. I watch a lot of nature shows and, different things like that. There's a lot of different things that men, that people can teach each other.
She said, "That's great."
Oh, thank you, Kenya.
Kenya, don't be blowing his head up.
Leave Kenya alone.
Number 6, friendship. How important is friendship in a relationship? Do we really need to be friends?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Do we need to be best friends, or we just need to be friends?
We need to have a friendship. I can't go into the depths of if you're going to be my best friend, but that definitely will make the relationship better, knowing that we're best friends, because then I feel more comfortable telling you or doing anything with you or around you without any repercussions that you may go out there and blab what we doing or what I did or whatever the case. So that trustworthy friend is what I need.
Kenya said 110% she believed that. I believe you should start off as friends. A lot of times we don't. We move past the friendship stage and we automatically just hop into a relationship. I think if you start off as friendships, when you, as a friend, once you get old and y'all in y'all 80s and you no longer can perform or do anything, he may have erectile dysfunction and, but you like him because he's your friend.
Absolutely. And I think, there was a couple women who I might have like back in I would get their number and I would just talk to them. I would see how the friendship is first. I wouldn't ask them out. I wouldn't, like push really hard. I'm not trying to get in the bed, but see what test the friendship first before going there. And it was, like you say, it was more of a rush. Like, well, why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? Because I wanted to get to know you a little more as a friend, then get to know you on a whole nother level. Because we should be friends first before we be lovers. Because if it doesn't work out romantically, we can always go back to what we were in the beginning, which was friends. And I think that's why all my relationships are the way they are, whether it's past, future, present. We all have great relationships because I value the friendship more than damaging our I value our friendship more than damaging what we've built and what we have.
So you would rather keep the friendship than to sometimes cross that line
Right. With some people.
with some people. All right. So you got to be friends first. Clear communication. The key word is clear. I feel like a lot of times we don't communicate clearly because we don't even know how to communicate. Then we have to learn our person's communication language so we will know how to communicate with them. A lot of times we don't. We feel like it's just like the love language. We love people according to how we want to be loved. And then we get mad when they like, no, this is not what I wanted. Like this, I don't want gifts. I don't want this. I want quality time. I want affection, because we're trying to love people how we want to be loved versus figuring out what it is that they need in order to survive in this relationship, in order for this relationship to be fruitful and feed them.
I think everybody has good communication skills. I think the issue is they're afraid to talk to that person on how they may react or what they might say to them. So they'll hold back and keep things bottled in and only maybe give you half of the story because they don't want to look like a fool, or they don't want to look like something malicious or something else, than what they have already shown you. So I think everybody has great communication skills. We just don't use it to the best of our ability.
That ain't communicating.
Well,
Or should we say a lack of communication skills?
I think we could always, this is why you got to find you a partner where you can say and be yourself with at any given time, no matter the circumstance or the situation. That would be my best friend, where they're not going to look at me with 5 heads, because I said this or I did that.
Yes. I think that takes time. It takes, you have to put in time for it. Like that's something that's not going to be like overnight. People nurture their relationships to get to that point.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a while.
Yeah. I like number 8, which is humor. When it
Yes.
comes to a key ingredient in a relationship, you got to be with somebody who knows how to laugh, who's not going to be so serious all the time. You're afraid to even say stuff around them because you're scared they're going to have a whole attitude. You can't take them nowhere because when you take them somewhere, they're always the woman with the attitude and everybody like, why you bring her?
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely got to have some laughter. You got to have some jokes. They say laughter is good for the soul. You can't be uptight and, like you said, and serious all the time. That's definitely not going to be healthy for that relationship, because then you feel like you can't do anything. You can't joke around with that person, and that becomes the fun. That's definitely part of the relationship.
I look at these shows where these couples be playing all these jokes on each other. Like on YouTube, you have these couples and all they do is play jokes on each other, like practical jokes. And some of them I'd be like, I'd be really mad if this person did this to me. But, they laugh about it and just be cracking up and be like, okay, I can't wait to get him back. I just be like, okay. And that they have fun. They get off on doing that to each other. So you really have to have a sense of humor with some of the stuff that they do.
Yeah, but to each his own. I mean, if that's what's making their yin and their yang work, then that's what they do. That's what they find. That's the interest that they find. And that's one of my ones on my list is the interest. You got to find a partner who's interested in the same thing. So if that's what's keeping y'all together, joke on. Joke ahead. Do what it is that make y'all happy, because ain't nobody in that relationship but you.
Exactly. Number 9, respect. you should respect your partner in a relationship. On a scale
Absolutely.
of 1 to 10, how big do you think respect is, Rizal?
Scale of 1 to 10, definitely like 11. Because if you could respect them, that goes along with the trust. That go along with like a lot of things. Yeah, definitely respect me and don't disrespect me.
Especially like if you're out and you know how you're having conversations with other people, and then he say something crazy and wrong, and then you'd be like, "Hey, that's not right. Why would you say that?" And then everybody else is with you, like downing him, and then he's like, "What?" Like, no, you got to be on his side when you get in the car. You be like, you know, you was dead wrong. That wasn't even right that you said that. Like, but don't make them look, stupid in front of anybody else, or, because it gives other people permission to do the same thing. I tell my daughters that go to the same high school, treat your sister with respect, talk to her with respect, because you're around your other friends and you talking to her a certain way. They gonna feel like they have permission to do the same thing, and then when they do it and you see it, you witness it, and you're like, why would she do that? Because they saw you do it, so they felt that it was okay.
Mm-hmm. And especially the minute she said, "Oh, I don't like her," right there, just open up Pandora's box. Then the other friend's gonna start looking at her. Well, she don't like you anyway. Blah, blah, blah. And then it's a whole big thing, and you wondering why they coming home, slamming doors, mad at each other. I'm like, well, guess what she did? And they arguing, going back and forth, and you gotta become the referee.
Absolutely. Number 10, romance in a relationship. This is a key ingredient. How romantic are you? I have to be honest. I was more romantic when I was younger. Like right now, it's just like I don't have the energy. I just don't have the energy to. I really had the energy when I was younger. Like I would juggle like 2, 3 of them. They all get the same gifts for Valentine's Day. Split the time up. Everybody get. Now, right now, it's just like, why? I don't have the energy. Maybe with the right person, I probably would, but right now I don't have the right energy.
That's understandable. I hear you on that. I think once I find what your likes, what your likes and your dislikes are, I think I continue to try, like you said, if you like flowers, then I try to make sure you have flowers all the time. I remember there was one who loved flowers. Every Friday when she would come visit, I would have flowers and her glass of Moscato ready for her.
Wow. I think I went on a date once. It was really nice. It was really well thought out. We met in this parking lot over by like the museum downtown. So he was like, meet me at the parking lot. He paid for my parking, which is expensive in Chicago. And then we took a water taxi over to Navy Pier, and we walked around Navy Pier. We ate, we got on the Ferris wheel, and we just kind of like enjoyed the night. And then the fireworks went off. Then we took the water taxi back and we went home. And I just thought that was like so romantic. I was just like, wow, this was like,
That was cool. But now when you're doing something like that, it's like you gotta like outdo the last thing that you did. So it's like, geez, if he's showing me that, what's next? They gotta learn to pace themselves on going in. If you don't want to go and shoot your whole shot, and boom, the relationship or the friendship or whatever is now over, and you did all that. They gotta learn to pace themselves and move up the scale gradually.
That's true. I think we started off with a picnic. So like each date was an adventure. So, and it wasn't that he was spending money on each date. It was just that he was resourceful. So sometimes people think, oh, I got to spend money. I got to do this. Oh, she just want my money. No, you set the tone. Like you just said, you pace yourself. You set the tone for how the relationship is going to go, how these dates are going to go. And if you don't want to be spending a lot of money, then you got to be resourceful and say, okay, You plan the next day, or everything is on you for the next day. Let me see what you come up with. And it's a lot of places in Chicago where you can go for free. You just gotta, you gotta look it up. You gotta take the time to actually look it up.
It's a lot of things to do in Chicago. Chicago is one of those cities, like that you got to visit because you hear so much of, whether it's the food, whether it's the sports, or, the theater, whatever it is. Chicago is just one of them cities that you got to visit. It's a lot to do in Chicago.
That leads to quality time together. This one is just so important. This one is at the top of my list. Like, I feel like if I'm not getting quality time, we might as well just not see each other. Just don't.
Oh, wow.
I don't even want to be bothered. Like, this is at the top of my list. Seriously.
Well, how much quality time do you require?
I require a lot of quality time. Like, I figure, like, especially if we're in a relationship, I feel like nobody is ever that busy. People make time for what they want. If Barack can make time for Michelle and he was the president, you can make time for me. And it's not about how much time, it's about quality time, like what we're doing with the time that we're together. So it's not like, oh, I gotta be with you every day. It's like, okay, whatever time we have is quality, not quantity, but.
And that becomes going back to when I was talking about sharing the same interests. Because if y'all share the same interests, then you ain't even got to ask for that quality time. Y'all both like the same thing, whether it's sitting on the couch watching movies, or whether it's going out to a baseball game watching the Cubs play, or whatever the case. So as long as y'all share the same interests, you would never have to worry about quality time.
No, because some people could be there, Rizal, and then they'll be on their phone. They like, I am here, but they on their phone, and the whole time you're like, okay, you here, but you're not here.
Nah, you got to put that phone away. Leave it at home.
Leave it at home, leave it in the car. Number 12 is own up to your mistakes. When you make a mistake, be big enough to own up to it, admit that you're wrong. Because you're not always right. We're not always right.
That's true. Got to learn how to apologize and learn to be healthy, to move on from the situation, not bring it back up. Don't give life to dead situations.
What about forgiveness? Like being quick to not only apologize, but being quick to forgive.
I don't have a problem with being quick to forgive, because then that lessens that, get that off of my heart. Because if I keep holding on to it, then it's going to bother me. I won't get no sleep at night. My hair may grow. I don't know. So,
what?
Yeah.
What about disagreeing? Learning how to have a disagreement.
You can agree to disagree. That's going to happen, because you're not always going to be on the same accord. There's still going to be arguments. There's still going to be different things that happen in a relationship that y'all might not have came across before, but now it's here now, and you just got to learn to disagree and move on from it. We need to put disagree and move on.
Yeah, and don't bring it up every time you feel like you're not getting your way. Number 14, show appreciation, love, and affection. I feel like this one should come with the quality time, but maybe not. Like all of that should be wrapped up into one.
Yeah. This is like one of those that's like 14A and 14B.
Yes, because if we spend quality time together, like all of those things should be wrapped up in there. It should be.
Should be, unless they're not into that person.
Right.
And that's a whole nother story.
We're going to leave that alone. Unselfishness.
Okay, so sometimes, depending on what it is, I could be a little selfish. Like my ice pops. That I say, don't eat my ice pops. If I put 7 in the freezer, I want to see 7 there. Don't touch my ice pops.
Okay.
You may want one, and I say, nope, You gotta get your own. I don't know what that classifies as selfishness, but yeah, that's what I say. I could be a little selfish, but come on, it's ice pops. We're going to fight over ice pops.
So being supportive of your mate and not eat his ice pops. Putting your desires, sometimes putting their desires before your own, supporting them, not just be like, okay, come watch me play basketball all the time. And then when I ask you to do something with me, you're like, I'm too tired, I can't go. Like, don't be selfish. Sometimes you have to compromise. In relationships, you do compromise. And compromise is not always a negative thing. Sometimes it seems like it is, but it's not, especially if you love that person.
Well,
this is a no-no. Abusive physically, verbally, or emotionally. I'm just going to leave that right there because you already know. So as we wrapping this up, number 17 is a healthy emotional boundaries. You have to set boundaries. Everybody should have boundaries in a relationship, especially like when you have arguments, and some people deal with their arguments to where I want to be left alone right now. Let me process this. And then you may have some to be like, no, let's discuss this right now. I'm ready to get this over with right now. So you have to learn how to be like, okay, I'm implementing this boundary and I need you to give me a minute. And then people you have to respect it.
Yeah. Because you don't want it to turn into something bigger than what it already is. You want to try to simmer the flames down, think about it, and then go back to the table and like, look, all right, this is what happened. This is what we're going to, do and go from here.
Be like, what happened? I made a mistake and stabbed him because I told him I didn't want to be bothered, but he kept bothering me, and I wanted some time to myself, and things happen.
Next thing you know, we got the cars with the cherries and berries on top, pulling you out of your house with hands behind your back. You don't want that.
Give people their space. I thought about loyalty, prayer, praying together, and God. Those are my final ingredients.
You forgot a very big one, and I've been waiting for you to say it.
Intimacy.
Sex.
That intimacy.
Yeah.
That's at the top of the list.
Well, we came from the top of the list. Where was it?
It's at the top of the list. You have to be with.
But we at the bottom now.
They have to be sexually compatible with you. Find somebody who is sexually compatible. So y'all can agree on a number of times a week. Y'all should do it. What type of affection y'all gonna show each other, and so it will be a balance. And one person won't feel like they doing all the work, and this person getting everything that they want, and you not getting nothing. Find somebody who's just as eagerly to be all over you as you want to be all over them.
Right. At any given moment, if the mood hits you and it's in a setting where it can happen, then go for it.
You get them to look and be like, let's get out of here.
That makes it spicy. That makes it spicy.
When I give you this look, you already know. If I say this code word, you know what I mean. Let's go.
See? Common interest.
Well, we're going to wrap this up because we are out of time. Rizal, give me some words of wisdom when it comes to key ingredients in a healthy relationship. You got 30 seconds.
Well, I don't know if it's a key word, but I could tell you, before my mother was gone, I used to watch her make food on Thanksgiving. And a lot of times she would be out of something, but she still went on with it anyway. So I just learned from that moment in time that even if you don't have all the ingredients, doesn't mean you can't cook. It's still going to come out fine, and nobody's not going to notice anything. It's going to taste the same.
Awesome. I like those words of wisdom. I'm going to leave them right there. You guys, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk. Don't go anywhere. Coming up at 7 p.m. on Intellectual Radio is The People Show with Mark Wallace and Charles Thomas. Join me next Monday right here on Intellectual Radio at 6 p.m. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell. Co-hosting with me today is Rizal, a.k.a. The Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.